Hi, I'm Heather McLean, and this is Heather's Health Talk. And today I'm interviewing Sandra Harrick, and we're in Westmoreland, New Hampshire. And if you have watched my show before, then you have seen Sandy and I talk about soul. And so today, what we're going to do is kind of follow into the subject of, I think, transitioning from life to death, the human spirit. There might be some karmic implications, yes, we can say that right. A little bit maybe about some reincarnation. This is not an evidence-based show, and that's what I like about it.
And yet there's lots of evidence all over the place, yes, depending on how you view it.
This is all anecdotal evidence. So, and if it resonates with you, then please watch this now, because we're going to have a good time. And you won't see this normally on television, and that's why we like to put it on television.
We're being brave.
Yes, we're being brave. Okay, so in that spirit, I have had, as I was just mentioning to you, at least 3 friends pass over with cancer or from cancer. One just recently, God bless her, a friend of ours, Michelle, who passed of a sarcoma. And it always brings to me feelings of, is there life after death? Mm-hmm. Is there a spirit? Mm-hmm. And how do we connect? How can we somehow feel okay about what just happened? And I know that you're going to be bringing us a story today that's particularly close to your heart. Mm-hmm. And I have also had experiences. Mine tend to be in the form of dreaming. Mm-hmm. So before we get into that, I'd really like to talk to you about your experience in that realm.
Okay. First of all, once again, thank you for coming, mm-hmm, and welcome everybody for coming here to Unicorn Fields, where we're filming today at my home in Westmoreland. And thank you so much for doing this show. Heather's Health Talk is quite an opportunity for so many people to learn and to be exposed to the alternatives.
Yes.
Be exposed to the alternatives. So this is a subject that's really not just close to my heart, that is what my soul is going through the process of not just learning, but experiencing. And the difference between learning and experiencing is I'm not reading it on a page and absorbing it as information. What happens with the form of phenomena with spirit is that we have experiences, we have encounters, and then we can validate it or experience the opportunity to read about it and then go, oh, that's like, or, oh my God, I would like. Now see, my goosebumps are already starting to come into the room, so spirit is gathering. And it's interesting because to track spirit means you literally get to witness that there are dimensions, there are realms, there are, again, my Catholic background is that there's heaven and earth. There was purgatory, so if you ate a little bologna on Friday, you didn't make it direct to heaven. But now that's been, forgiven. But there's heaven, there's earth, there's hell. In other realms, there are other dimensions. So we're also talking about what is the phenomena that is related to different religious orders and belief systems. And for me to be able to go into the more spiritual, the more Hindu, or the more Buddhist, there are other ways of experiencing something, or into the direct spiritual, where visitations,
right,
are really something that happen to us.
Okay, so this is where we can tie in different beliefs of different religions.
Yes.
Most of the religions, and I can't speak for all of them because I'm not educated enough, do believe that we have a soul, like, yes, we spoke about.
Yes. That
this soul becomes in a spirit form when we die, or
let me
it's already a spirit.
Well, okay. This is back to Alice Bailey, and this is a formula that I experience as the soul is the energy form that goes through eons and eons of time. Okay. It is consistent. The spirit is what is ignited in you when you are reincarnated, or even in transition so that you have a life on the other side and you have a life here. So with a soul, you don't just drop dead and disappear. There's energy, there's frequency, there's another realm. And so the soul comes through with all of our stories, gets reincarnated. The spiritos is exactly where the life force now is activated again, and this personality enters and becomes the force field that moves with the soul as Sandy, as Heather.
Okay.
And so, because not in all our incarnations are we Heather and Sandy. We may be a man, we may be a woman, we may be and how long do we get to live? But let's go right back down to that this is about what happens in transition. What I have experienced, interesting, I mean, this is such a wonderful topic because I have also experienced children being born that died the day they were born.
Right, I know, and it never seems fair.
Exactly. There's that assumption, and that is a family member of mine. And interestingly enough, Jason, he was given a name on his first day of being born, but he was also very present in my life for a year and a half before he was brought to the physical body. So we could do a whole story on that at another time, but that's just to acknowledge that a whole life can be a day or a moment. It doesn't have to be 90 years. For a soul, even though we grieve and feel there is a sense of injustice that a child would die so young,
right,
for that soul, that is the perfect time and destination for it to have a complete experience. Our opinion about it is obviously incredibly challenged. Incredibly challenged. And then you have somebody that lives into, the middle of their life and their life is taken away. And it's like, oh my God, they still died too young. And then you look at somebody who's waiting to die. They're in their 90s and their 100s and it's like, they're sick, they're dead, their bones on the, why aren't they gone?
Right.
So, there's many ways of seeing the complications or the truth of someone's karma, finding their destiny according to their soul's travel.
There's the point, is that we all have our own judgments
exactly
about somebody passing away.
Yeah.
And our own feelings about how that affects us. And so there's a lesson in it for each person that sort of experiences that as well.
Absolutely.
But we can't judge what just happened because we don't know that person's sum and total of all of their karma and their beliefs and why they came into this life, which now we can maybe sort of transition to your story.
Absolutely. And what I'm talking about with this story today is about a very dear friend of mine who passed away last June. And she was in her 50s and was very dedicated to spirit and had a very incredible life of solitude, a single mother, lots of things that made her life her life. And at the end of her life, and she and I were very, very dear friends. I met her in Europe, and it's interesting that I would have to go to Europe to meet her.
And she's from here.
And she was actually originally born in Canada, but has a dual citizenship.
Okay.
And, so this is, again, my soul had to go to Europe to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
And yet my soul, in this life went to Vancouver. She was in Vancouver.
So you've had connections.
The lacing of our crossing the planet alone was amazing, and how the tapestry of our lives are woven. That it's not just if you live in one town. It's amazing where you got to go to find the most incredible people in your life.
Okay.
And that's what happens in my life. So I'm going to go for this because I know we are on a time limit. The beauty of Caroline's story is that at the end of her time, and I call it the end of her time here, she was very, 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 very focused to go into a place where she wanted to complete her karma here on earth. Because she felt the struggle. She felt the hardship. She felt the loneliness. She felt the isolation. Her life was very robust, and yet she could feel she wanted closure.
Did she have a disease?
She was actually dealing with breast cancer.
Okay.
So that was at the
That's-
end, and the breast
okay.
cancer was good news, bad news.
Right.
You know, the bad news is you have cancer. The good news is this the way that you find your way to end your time here on earth?
Right. And how do you use the rest of the time that you have?
Exactly. If you're a Jehovah Witness, they don't intervene anybody with, you know,
Okay.
trying to save a life. So for them, if they're stricken with a disease, they pray about it. They
Okay.
won't do it. So, you know, it's interesting how everybody has an opinion about how to get to the other side. The phenomena that I want to talk about in the difference between learning and witnessing is I did not learn about Buddhism. Caroline did. She spoke to me of Buddhism. So it's not something that I know as an education, but I experience as a sensation. What happened is she brought to me the whole procedure of her doing chanting, listening to all these beautiful Buddhist prayers, literally having blessings from the Dalai Lama because of her writing to him, or from other lamas that help people to go through I'm still sad about her dying, so that's why I'm
So she
stuttering.
knew she was going to die.
She knew she was going to
and
die.
so she started preparing for this
She
death.
started to prepare for it,
Okay.
and she embraced with it as knowing she surrendered to the fact that this was it.
Okay.
She fought. She did. She had
She
a breast
did.
removal.
Okay.
She did chemo. It's not like she just said, "Oh, I'm sick. I'm going to die." She gave it a good fight, and it doesn't matter in spirituality. Sometimes you make it.
Sometimes you
Sometimes you don't.
Right.
And passing doesn't mean you didn't make it.
That's true.
It really is, and even that's a judgment that we need to allow
Right.
ourselves to release. Oh, well, they didn't fight hard enough, or they didn't want to, or they just wanted to give up. No, she fought the good fight, and cancer and this was her destiny to leave through this process. So interestingly enough, she offered me this information, and she gave me online the information about Vajra Yogi, which is a young deity that holds a blade, holds a staff, and is here devoted to the heart. That in the passing, you are brought to the other side, to the heart chakra, the heart consciousness, so that you are totally within compassion. Because she really wanted to cut her whole life from ever having to come back here and go out and be in the realm of compassion. So her work on the other side would be to allow peace to be found, allow people to be cared for, but her not have to come back and trudge through.
Okay, so she wanted to, in her death, create peace.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what was my other question? So
Completion
completion.
also.
There was something that you started to do, as we were mentioning, before you knew what was happening with her.
I have a garden out in the front of the house, and when you come in the spring, we'll take a shot of it. But there is a garden out there that all of a sudden I needed to change. And I said to my husband, Bobby, can we take this Buddha and move it back and do a wall? And I want to get these stones, and I want to make a pathway. And this was literally last spring. And so it started actually the last fall in 2011, where we started a process. The snow came. In the spring, we uncovered it, and I found a rock, and the rock is in the shape of a heart.
Okay.
And that heart was put down on the ground, and then all of a sudden, the mandala, the spray of energy of that little garden, completely changed to a Buddhist altar, a heart, and I had no idea about Caroline literally being that sick yet. We had no idea that Vajra Yogi was dancing physically around us, but her energy, the phenomena of her essence was already inside my psyche. So she and I are communicating without even knowing that that's what's happening. So this is intuition.
Intuition, yes.
So this is also that phenomena of I'm hearing something, I'm doing something, and I don't even know why, but I am
Yes.
following it, I'm doing it, and it's instructing me. Here come the goosebumps. I do something, it says no, do here. And the intuition is truly the guidance that allows us to make perfection, with us leaving the control of it and being in the flow of it. And Caroline's passing is guiding this whole thing. So what happens is that I then hear that she's going to pass away. My heart breaks. We go to this incredible realm of, we can either run away from somebody when they pass, fight when somebody passes, or engage in the beauty of these are the precious moments. And the clock is ticking. And get what you really are to be, as well in the aliveness of someone passing away, rather than thinking, well, they're done, it's over. Americans need to learn how to grieve. We really do. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful process that is difficult, but it is worth engaging in. So what happens if you look online for Vaja Yogi, she is this deity that holds a blade, holds a staff, cuts the cords from any and all negative encounters that allow you to be freed, so all your karma is complete. Caroline read this, she chanted on it, and in the very end, as she was getting closer and closer, my garden is growing and growing. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I'm making this heart-shaped Buddhist garden for her. Because she is going to be cremated and wants to be placed in a garden. I hear this afterwards. So it's amazing how spirit will talk to us. And I'm doing this because it kind of hones in. It starts way out here and then gets down here and then comes straight in and gives us a line of consciousness. So what happened is, God bless, the closer she got to her death, the closer she got to morphine, the more she went into her unconsciousness, the more the prayers were there, the consciousness, saying goodbye to her family, the struggles of that, the complications of that, the heart connection that she reconnected with her brother, all of this, so monumental. And then at 7-something in the morning, my time, 4 o'clock in the morning, her time in Vancouver, I wake up and I had been given her computer. I open it up and there I am seeing photographs of her and looking at this thinking, why am I awake? I'm tired. And all of a sudden from 4 until 4:17, I closed the computer. I was looking at it. I was in it. I tuck it away. At 9-something in the morning, my phone rings and her brother Charles calls to say, Sandy, she passed. She passed between 4. He literally said, I got up at 4 o'clock. I went to look at her. She was breathing. He lay down because he was staying in her room. And at 4:17, he said, I got up and it was over. That's the exact time shift between the East Coast and the West Coast. So she came. I was there. I was with. Phenomena. It's unbelievable how real it is, and we need to allow it to be more believable.
I agree. I agree, because we often just pass it off because we can't necessarily see it with our eyes.
Right. And it's not a freak accident. It's not a bizarre situation. It's an honest to goodness experience with the soul passing and brushing by and coming to me and speaking to us on other realms of our consciousness. Okay. It is Christmas. My beloved, my husband, who's very tuned in and who is very, very sensitive. And he did not walk this walk with me precisely as somebody right next to me when Caroline died. He was in it, but it was really her experience and my experience. So he never saw the pictures of Vaja Yogi. He never saw the pictures of the deity. He didn't hear about the story of this is what she's doing. And yet he's completely intimate with me in witnessing that I am losing my friend. So literally, Christmas morning, we are opening up our gifts. And lo and behold, one of the last gifts that I opened, he said, I went to an antique store and I found this and I had a lot of things to do, and as I'm opening it up, he gets his iPhone, he does like this and I'm looking at him and he downloads this picture, and it's a picture that he's waiting for me to see, and I open up the gift and this is, and I look at this and I literally, my mouth drops, my jaw drools, tears start to fall. I said, where did you get this? This is the knife of Vaja Yogi.
He didn't know anything about
this? He
this?
knew nothing.
Yeah, that's...
He
wow.
knew nothing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we hold it, and you do this, and it's held in Buddhist ceremonies to cut cords, to cut the pain from someone, to cut the negativity. And he said he saw it, I'm getting the shivers, when he was just walking with his mother and sister, that he saw it, he had to get it, he had to find out what it meant. And so here is Caroline from the other side, her soul, her heart, her love, who made a promise to me that, please leave me alone, Sandy, until I'm through the passage of time. And then when her compassion in her heart is free to return and do whatever the magic is, whatever the wonderment is, whatever the validations are, that this knife appeared. And on Christmas morning, I am literally weeping with that type of, oh my God, she made it. Mm-hmm. She made it to where she needs to be. And she sent back love to let us know that there is another side. She didn't have me find it, someone else found it, so that it's even more powerful, that it includes even the people around us, that it doesn't mean it's just an agreement between she and I. And now it's shared with you, to know that if you have a beloved who has passed, if there is something there of an object that means something to you. My brother Tony, God bless his heart, my sister-in-law's in the house this weekend. My brother Tony got killed by a motorcycle, got killed on his motorcycle by a drunk driver. And how does he contact us? Quarters. Quarters are dropped, quarters appear, quarters, you find them anywhere. It's like my sister-in-law finds quarters wherever it is. He works with my sisters, he works with my brothers, that the validation of something appearing, the other side wants to talk to us. And it's our job to understand that there is a language, just like going to a foreign country. I may go to China and I don't know what they're saying, but they really are saying something. And their symbology of belief is different than ours. And so when these things come, it's interesting, I had this beautiful red bag of a heart, and it fit just so perfectly. And so I am saying to you that my friend did not die in vain. I am saying to you, no one really dies in vain, even though it is difficult to lose someone. And that our love with them continues. However you need to continue your love. And also, it can complete, so that if you need to go to another side, if you need to go and complete your love and find the next love, that the soul can complete. Because I do know people who have lost their loved ones, and then all of a sudden they find another relationship. They have another whole life. And one comes and gives you a part of your life, that part is over, complete, and you move into another realm. So life force is constantly moving. It's not just death.
I had my own experience with Michelle, who just passed, and it's different than yours in that, you know, something else happened, but what happened with me was the day that she passed away. I'll never forget, I looked outside for a moment and I thought I saw somebody walk across our deck.
Yes.
That was when she had passed away that morning. And I got chills and I was like, what? Is somebody, you know, and then I said, no one's there. And that inkling in my mind thought, well, maybe it's a ghost. I'm like, well, I don't have any ghosts in my house. But anyway, the other thing that happened was that I generally dream about people, but I was thinking about Michelle and feeling sad because she had left this life. It seemed too early. I mean, she has three children, a daughter and 2 sons, and they're all married, and all the women are pregnant, and all the women are due within a month of each other. And this was amazing. But what happened was I was sad about her passing, and all of a sudden I can't even describe it, but this song, Sarah from Fleetwood Mac came
Yes,
into me.
yes, yes.
And it's Sarah, you're the poet of my heart. Never change, never stop. And all of a sudden I had chills and I was like, she always told me how healthy I looked. And she would say, God, I want that, you know, because she didn't want to pass away.
Right.
And it wasn't that it was an envy, but what she was saying was, enjoy the physicality of your life still.
Yes.
And her message was one of really love and enjoy being alive.
Right.
And so that song just kept going into my mind because the song is really about Stevie Nicks, who wrote it, and there was a real girl, Sarah. She kind of used this girl as a little bit of a muse, like she just really, I think, enjoyed her life and what she was able to do. I don't know, but anyway, that's what that kind of meant to me. There was this message of, you know, enjoy and don't be sad, and enjoy being alive and be thankful. And she was freed, and that was my experience with her. And all of a sudden, instead of grieving, I felt this release, like she was really okay now.
Yeah.
And she was saying to those of her loved ones that were alive, continue on, don't stop.
Yes.
Don't stop. You know, continue and enjoy it and love it.
Yes.
And that's what I got.
Absolutely. And for me with Caroline, receiving this meant to me because she did have that angst.
Mm-hmm.
Will she make it? Will she make it? Is she listening to her prayers? Is she doing it? And this says to me, she made it.
Yes.
She made it.
And it was like these moments
Yes.
that we're left with that you might just catch a glimpse of is enough to completely open your heart and change everything.
Absolutely.
That's what is very interesting to me, that
Right.
we need to stay open. And we need to see these experiences and embrace them.
And that they're there, whether we see them or not, they're there. You know, you can have a smell, a fragrance will come. All of a sudden the air, there's nothing out there, and all of a sudden the chimes will ring, or there's a breeze. There can be all of a sudden, like you say, the shivers up and down your body, or you hear a sound, or you even hear your name called.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've had apparitions that appeared in my, in my bedroom or in the house. One of the greatest moments I ever had with someone passing actually was with my own father. I woke up, I was in Santa Fe, and I woke up in my room, and I could see the sunlight outside, so bright, but my room was pitch black. And I instantly closed my eyes and asked, where am I? And the voice said, in your father's coffin. I called my father. Long story short, he was in the hospital, and he never came out. And I went to him, and I literally stayed with him for 3 days in the same clothes. I mean, it was amazing. It's like everything in my body just went quiet. I slept in a chair that had a little, you just lean back, whatever, so that I was there as he went into this realm. And I was taking a slight nap as his last moments were happening. And inside my vision, I saw his father come and take his hand and start walking him through these beautiful tall trees. And I woke up because all of a sudden my mother goes, hold him, hold him, hold him, because he was waking up from his a reaction from the morphine. And two of my brothers held him, and I grabbed his face and I said, Daddy, did you see Grandpa? Did you see him? And he went, yes. I said, do you have his hand? Yes. And we're both, and his eyes were just so clear. And I said, go with Grandpa. He goes, okay. And I watched him until his eyes went still. And the room became sweet.
I know that feeling. That's what happened when Jeff's mom passed.
Yes.
There was something about that moment that when she passed, it was just 5 minutes before she passed, there was a lot of activity
Oh,
around her.
whoa.
And then all of a sudden, everybody settled.
Yes.
In that moment, and I said it to Jeff, I said, something's changed. And then she stopped, and we all just sort of sat quietly, and then she stopped breathing.
That moment is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless Susie, she's out there. She wailed. She was a part of my father in a way as a daughter that his real daughters weren't. Mm-hmm. She was there at the other end of his life. We went out and she came in, and my brothers, to have them be the might for my father, my mother, to watch their relationship end right there. And a mist came from outside. Literally, it was 4/28, November 28th, 1990, and he died on the same floor that we were all born on, 7 children. The nurses outside the door, literally, when it was all over, literally said they felt it. All people should have that energy when they pass. I have one more story that's so important. A young boy, 9 years old, was playing chicken on a road, and a car got him. And he was brain dead. And he was in the hospital, and his family called me, and they asked me to come and to really support what was going on. And I got a crystal. I actually got a crystal and put it in his hand and asked, because he was now going to become an organ donor, and to put it in his hand. And many medical things happened to him, but many metaphysical things happened also for this 9-year-old. When his brother and his mother came to say goodbye to him, before they took out the tube, they crawled in bed with him, literally, crying and talking. He had tears, because the last place inside is the emotional cord. He could feel their love. He could cry it to them. When everything was said and done, a nurse went and got that crystal, because I wasn't there at that moment. And I said, he's holding this, and I asked him to put all of his spirit, all of his soul, into the crystal so that his organs could go to someone else, and he was free. When the nurse opened up his hand, she said that thing literally flew out of his hand into her, like he tossed it, and she caught it, and it was so hot. She said it was like a potato. He put all of his life force into that crystal. And then they were able to prepare him for the organ donor. And interestingly enough, gave that crystal to his mother, and it was still warm. It held that life force. Many things. Many wonderful, wonderful things. And yes, we do need to look on how to support healing for someone on the other side if they are restless. Yes. So know that also, that's where mediumship comes in, that's where prayer comes in, that's where listen to what the voice is, and pay attention and stay in the love.
Woo! Got some chills going there.
Thank you.
I actually have one more dream as well. Well, I have a lot of them.
We'll just have to continue this because it's a great conversation.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I'm not sure what time we're on.
How are we doing?
I think we're going way past our thing. Hold on, I can tell you. Let's see. Oh yes, we've gone way past. We might as well continue on.
All right.
We can always
clip
this.
Yes, please.
We can always like clip this, George. Or actually, let's close this off.
Yeah, they're all coming around me. They know I like animals. I like animals. Saying a few words to the camera, are you?
Here, come on over here.